Thanks for joining again. This is your host, Nisa Harris, and you are listening to Shomea Ve'oneh, Tehillim and Other Hebrew Texts podcast, episode 9. The following is the recitation of the 6th Psalm, aka Perek, or Mizmor VAV. After the recitation, stay tuned to hear more about this Mizmor. Tehillim Mizmor VAV, Psalm 6. Lamnatseach beniginot, al hashminit. Mizmor leDavid. Adonai al be'apcha tochicheni, ve'al b'chamatcha teyasreni. Chaneni Adonai, ki umlal ani. Rifa'eni Adonai, ki nivhalu atzamai. V'nafshi nivhala me'od. Ve'ata Adonai, ad matai. Shuva Adonai, chaltza nafshi. Hoshieni lema'an chastecha. Ki ein b'mavet zichrecha. Bish'ol mi yodeh lach. Yagati be'anchati ashche. Bekol laila mitati bedimati arsi amseh. Ashesha mikaas eini atka bekol torarai. Suru mimeni kol poale aven. Ki shema Adonai kol bechi. Shema Adonai techinati. Adonai tefilati yikach. Yevoshu v'yibahalu me'od kol oivai. Yashuvu yevoshu raga. Mizmor VAV is a supplication, which is the action of the author asking or begging for something earnestly and humbly. It's included as part of our Tachanun weekday prayer and is also at Brit Milah used, thought to be a powerful prayer in our tradition, and for good reason, I think. Different opinions exist for who the author is and at what point in time the psalm is being said. If you say that David HaMelech is the author, it could have been after the death of his son Avshalom or other of his loved ones, or when he was running away from those that attempted to kill him, or near the end of his life. In any case, there is a desperation in this Mizmor that is one of deeply strained emotion instead of based on the facts. The psalm doesn't explicitly indicate that there was a cause for the suffering that they are actively experiencing. In other words, it doesn't specify that the suffering was caused from a sin or external enemies or even illness. All can be possibilities. Therefore, the emotions can really be transplanted into any situation that the reader themselves might be going through when in a state of desperation. The author describes vividly how nivhalu atzamai, his bones shudder in terror, and bedimati arshi amseh, his couch melts with his tears, etc. goes on. Really giving voice to anyone going through a chronic or acute bout of anxiety and or depression. There is an understanding that through this Mizmor, it helps Hashem to accept our prayers, because at the end of this Mizmor, the author is very confident that his prayer was accepted and will be in the future. how can the author be so confident that his prayer was accepted? I think there is a key word in the Mizmor that highlights why the author can have such confidence. The author uses the word Teshuva, return. He asks Hashem to return to him. Shuva Hashem chaltza nafshi. Return to me, Hashem, save my soul. Then he mentions the word again at the end of the Mizmor, that his enemies, yashuvu yevoshu raga, which can be interpreted, they will turn back, frustrated for an instant. The enemies will be frustrated that this author was not brought to an end, but only for an instant, because then they will realize that Hashem was actually on his side all along and have a change in attitude towards him. In this Mizmor, the author is teaching how to supplicate before God. When doing Teshuva, you need to remember to focus on the Shuva, the return, the change in attitudes that you are seeking. To help explain my point, I came across something my friend Rachel Rovner, who is an expert teacher for children, said. She said, visualizing your side of an argument is the first step in taking responsibility. So in this Mizmor, the author is asking for a change in attitude from Hashem towards him. He's asking that his enemies will have a change in attitude towards him. And after he bitterly mourns, whatever circumstance he is going through and deeply feels all that is wrong, he is hopefully transformed into having a new attitude. He has taken responsibility for what has transpired and was able to see that Hashem has accepted his prayers. I believe it was Chief Rabbi Jonathan Sachs who says that the way you know your prayers were accepted by Hashem is when that item is no longer something you feel the need to do teshuva for. The author cried his eyes out. He felt his oppression heavily, to say the least, and now his attitude, the attitude of anyone against him, and Hashem's attitude has hopefully changed for the better. Please stay tuned until after this quick break. This week's learning and recitation is for the refuah shalema of the attitude of the world towards Am Yisrael, the nation of Israel. May Hashem return, so to speak, if needed at this time, to not rebuking us in anger, as this Mizmor beautifully points out. May those who are against us have a change in attitude for the positive and recognize that we are only here to live peacefully and help the world as best we can. And may we be able to understand with certainty that which we are responsible for in order to assist with those changes in attitudes for the positive. If you would like to sponsor an episode or have requests, please email me at nursenisa1@gmail.com. Also, please join the Shomea Ve'ona Facebook group if you are having trouble with receiving notifications of episodes that come out. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe and share.